supremacy. I hate critics.
Stephen King, the mastermind behind many cult horror classics, has pinned down some of the most powerful antagonists and supernatural beings from different worlds to give us sleepless nights and unimaginable terror forever. One such antagonist from his vast expansive universe is Tak, who not only leaves trails of destruction, but also redefines the extent to which evil can go to fulfill its ambition of domination and supremacy. Today's video is all about him, so sit back, relax, and enjoy as we uncover his aspects one by one in our exploration. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Chapter 1. Who is Tak? Tak is a sinister extra-dimensional otherworldly entity called Wyson. Tak is the primary antagonist of King's two novels, Desperation and The Regulators. Both of these novels are linked with each other, and are regarded as twinner novels. Twinner novels have parallel worlds with alternate versions of characters and events. To understand this, you can take the example of the Spider-Verse or Marvel's multiverse. Tak speaks the language of the dead, where his name stands for big or powerful. This probably denotes the character's stature to induce mass destruction without breaking a sweat. Chapter 2. Role in Desperation and The Regulators. Desperation is a novel published by Stephen King in 1996, and it became a TV horror film in 2006. Mick Garris directed it, and King himself provided the teleplay. Both the book and the movie had the same plot, which revolved around several people who got abducted by Collie Intragian, the deputy of the fictional mining town of Desperation, on the pretext of carrying drugs, while they were traveling through Highway 50 in Nevada. Later, it became clear that an evil entity controlled Intragian's mind, and that evil entity was Tak. Tak, unlike King's other characters such as Randall Flagg and Pennywise, cannot survive in the Earth realm without a host, so he manifests his presence on the Earth realm through an innie or entry point, which was at the very bottom of a very deep well in China Pit, which was once an abandoned mine in Desperation, Nevada. But one day it reopened, and Tak had the opportunity to enter the Earth realm and take possession of the bodies of different living things. But there was a problem. Tak cannot stay in the body of a single host forever, as the stress of his high energy wears on the living tissue of his host quickly, so he constantly jumps from one victim to another. But at the end of the novel or movie, Tak's arrogance and overconfidence became his doom. God ultimately defeated him, but many other characters also played their part in either distracting or confronting him without thinking about the consequences. Tak found that he had been played and manipulated all along, irrespective of his taking control of multiple hosts. Later, he was imprisoned in the China Pit mine through a disastrous explosion. This explosion destroyed the region so much that no mining activity would be possible there, even in the distant future. On the other hand, The Regulators is a novel published by Stephen King in 1996 under his pseudonym, Richard Bachman. The novel's plot involved the merciless killings of a paperboy and some other residents in the neighborhood by some strangers in colorful vans. But amidst the chaos, only two people, Audrey Weiler and her autistic nephew, Seth, remained unfazed. Later, it was also discovered that Seth was possessed by Tak. Just like in Desperation, Tak manifested his presence through the innie. Here, also, he needed to survive through a host. After being released from the mine, Tak took over Seth's body when the boy came to Desperation Town for a trip. Later, with his mental influence, he killed Seth's parents and siblings and also forced Audrey's husband to take his life. To save herself, Audrey had to take refuge in a mental construct of her creation. But here, all hope was not lost. Unlike his previous hosts, Tak could partially control the boy's mind, as Seth had consciousness over his body. Another key difference from Desperation and The Regulators was that, in Desperation, Tak's physical body was locked in another dimension, and he connected with the outer world through a tiny opening in the innie. However, in Regulators, Tak's appearance consisted of intangible mists from the China Pit, and red specks throughout. Just like in Desperation, Tak was again punished for underestimating his opponent, and this time it was the autistic Seth Garren. With his excellent use of intelligence, Garren led Cammy Reed, another character from the novel, to kill him and stop Tak from using his powers further. After Seth's death, Tak sought revenge and vowed to return to kill the rest of the survivors, but without a host, he was powerless. Chapter 3. Powers and Abilities. You already know that Tak can possess the body of every living being that comes within his proximity, but you're yet to discover how he does it. In Desperation, Tak transmitted his essence into a host's body with the help of 3 smoky, viscous makeshift arms. Each of those arms enter the victim's body through 3 points, 2 through the nostrils and 1 through the mouth. Each of those points was tipped with small holes like eyes, through which Tak deployed his essence into the victim's body. After this, Tak only needed to connect the mouth of his current host with that of the next intended host. Tak stayed longer in the bodies of hosts who were physically fit and strong. A prime example of this was when Tak remained in the body of a massive and strong Collie Intragian for a week. while he could only sustain a few hours in the body of the sick lady Ellen Carver. Besides humans, Tak could also stay in the body of large animals such as wolves and eagles, but their bodies wear off faster than human hosts, so Tak preferred humans over any other species as his perfect choice of host. If Tak possessed any feeble or small animal species as a host, the host would explode immediately. Another crazy aspect about Tak's takeover was that he increased the size and strength of his victim. For instance, when Tak infused with Ellen Carver, she physically outgrew her husband in strength and size. The host would fall on the ground as soon as Tak left the body, with the damage it had done. If the host died before, Tak could transmit himself to another body. Then all the other creatures under his control during that time would also instantly die. Tak could possess the body of a single host at a time, but he can control multiple humans with the help of Kantas. Kantas are little gods in the form of stone animals. He mostly created them from inanimate objects that came under his radar and used them to drive the murderous intent of humans. Even though his control of Kantas is not as powerful in comparison with his host, the humans under the control of the Kantas could die if they tried to separate themselves. Tak always blew up the human head from inside before he hopped into his other victim. Tak also used another power known as the Kantak, or Big God. It was a lethal combination of the host body and Tak's essence, which had superhuman strength, endurance, and no susceptibility to pain. It also gave Tak the power of sight to look through solid objects. For example, Tak saw a plaque in Carver's RV, even though he had not stepped in or looked through the window. Tak could also see through the eyes of the animal under his control, once he located a target using a bat's echolocation. He also controlled many pairs of eyes and could form a mental picture with multiple inputs. In proximity to his innie, Tak could also use brute force to enter a living host's body if they provided resistance, just like he did with his first victim, Carrie Ripton. He forcefully opened Ripton's mouth, even though he tried to stop him, and took possession of his body. He wanted to do the same with another character, Johnny Marinville, but he had his motorcycle helmet on and detected Tak's advances early. In Regulators, Tak was even more powerful and superior. In Seth's mind, he had the power to alter reality. He transformed Seth's landscape with his cartoonish fantasies, and infused it with his dopamine for murderous activities and love for chaos. He removed Poplar Street from reality and placed it into a dimension of his creation. All his creations were just mere illusions to inflict pain and physical damage on living beings. Tak created the Regulators, a group of aliens and cowboys from Seth's imagination, and used them to shoot and kill people on Poplar Street. Chapter 4. Limitations. We already know that Tak cannot survive in the Earth realm without a host. However, the situation was further aggravated in the Regulators, where Tak could only use hosts with exceptional qualities like Seth Garren. In the Regulators, whenever Tak tried to enter the body of another host except Seth, they blew into pieces. Even though Tak possessed Seth's body, he failed to control the heartbeat, circulation, respiration, etc. without the boy's consciousness. Instead of this rejection, Tak never penalized the boy, enjoying staying inside his body, and coexisted with him. But for once, his complacency and lenience became his weakness, as Seth and his aunt Audrey Weiler took advantage of his overconfidence to defeat him. Chapter 5. Other Threat. The Tak of desperation couldn't fix the defects of his hosts. Rather, his energy spirit amplified those defects to such an extent that even a harmless defect became fatal. In Carrie Ripton's case, he had cancer that would have killed him after a few months, but Tak's possession caused the cancer to speed up and kill him within 24 hours. As a result, Tak was forced to move on to another host, Brad Josephson. Brad Josephson was suffering from a leaky valve, a congenital birth defect that persisted harmlessly for many years, only for Tak to worsen it after possession. Tak's next victim, massive and physical, Collie Intragian, was the strongest of all. He only had some issues with sunburns. As you know, Tak survived in Collie's body for a week. After that, his body degraded and fell to pieces, which was totally unrelated to skin issues. Tak's last victim, Ellen Carver, only had a yeast infection, but Tak's mystic powers were enough for her to start bleeding after 12 hours. There's no conclusive evidence in the novels or the movies on how long a healthy body could sustain Tak's magical energy. Chapter 6. Fan Theories. Does Tak have any relation to King's Dark Tower or other universes? Tak has no presence in Stephen King's other books. However, some phrases of Tak's language of the dead have been used in King's other books, and some of the short stories of the Dark Tower. In King's universe, Tak might be the only one who does not obey or take commands from a higher being, not even the Crimson King. Tak's reference to being otherworldly can hint that he may come from a universe that King has yet to explore. Other connections of Tak's presence in different universes can be drawn from King's other work, The Little Sisters of Illyria, where the Little Sisters speak Tak's language of the dead. They make their camp in Illyria, near the Desatoya Mountains, which in the universe of Desperation and the Regulators is the location of the mining city Desperation, Nevada. In the It novel, one of the heroes explains the real appearance of Pennywise as a deadlight. Pennywise deadlights appear to be white, but Tak's in the Regulators has the same form but in red miasma. Both Pennywise and Tak share similar characteristics, but mostly they're different beings. Marvelous conclusion. Tak is a truly spectacular antagonist, cunning and evil to the core. As fans, we would really like him to make a comeback in the Stephen King universe and spread terror of the dark forces like never before. But it all depends on King. Will he be interested in bringing him back? And if yes, then what could be his possible storyline? Leave your comments on this down below, and let's see who comes up with the best fan theory. Till then, it's a wrap from our side, guys. We hope you liked the video, and apologize if we missed anything important. Till then, keep smiling and take care. If you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.